Okay, welcome. So this is our third accountability targets and systemization for this year. It's a new thing we've decided to do. We used to do like 2-week challenges every now and again, and it used to be quite full on, and you'd have to show up every day and you just get loads of homework, and it was so intense. But people did like it. We got really good results as well. But we felt that this year, if we did more accountability session, it might be a little bit more manageable for everybody. And it's also, as a reminder, the call is where we teach you like a 10-minute thing that we've already done videos on them before, so you can access them at any point, but it'll be more like sorry, just admitting people into the call. It's more about if you need little kind of support as you go. So you can always do one-to-ones, there's always trainings available, but it's just those extra little things that you might just go, oh, actually, Holly's available on a Tuesday night. Let's pop on. Nick's available. I can ask a quick question. It's also there to make sure that you guys are staying accountable to your goals. And if it's not that you're wanting, it's also something, and I've said, and we're not going to be offended, but even if it's just showing up, almost muting us, turning the volume down, and getting on with some of the admin that's within the system. Because what we had a lot of feedback on is a lot of people were saying that they don't always use a system because they're out of the habit. They keep forgetting to use it, or they're still using their old ways and things like that. So we thought, well, maybe if we bring it up so that every Tuesday, if you haven't managed to log in a little bit every day, it's your opportunity to get on board, start using it and being comfortable with it so that you can stick with these good goals. So for those that don't know us, I know we repeat this on every single one, but if there's newbies, we just have to cover it. Me and Nick have been invested in property since 2018. We moved up to our investment area, Sheffield, in the 2018. We've sourced, we've done all the strategies under the sun. The portfolio at the bottom is what we've created over the last couple of years, to the point that we hit our 5-year goal and went traveling for 6 months. And we outsourced everything through using a system like this. So it is doable to set goals, become systemized, and step away from the business a bit more. I don't know about you, but when you're in it, it can be quite. So we want to try and start to offload that a bit and start ensuring that we're living and breathing what we want to do on a daily basis, whether that be children, family, days out, traveling, whatever it is, it's up to you. So we did a vote, and the vote was calculator and strategies for this week. So far we've covered our KPIs, our key performing indicators, our kind of main kind of goal setting, and how you can track your key performing indicators on the system. We then covered the targets, sorry, not the targets, the tasks, how to work with your tasks so that you can get the to-do list off the paperwork. And that's all been recorded. And if you haven't got it, just let us know. Chat in the chat box if you haven't got it, and Nick can send you the link for previous recordings of those little trainings. And today is calculator and strategies. So I'm going to go through how that works with a cash flow example, like a buy, refurb, refinance type thing. And then Nick's going to do like a flip a scenario, but based around more of a commercial. So a little bit of a bigger idea so you can see what's achievable. And we'll just show you the different strategies in general so you get a feel for how that works. Okay. Things like that will actually speed everything up. Once we've done that, which is only going to be a couple of minutes, we are then going to go into the weekly goals and your progress for the week. You know, what did you do? What you were wanting to do? And we're going to try and go quicker this time, okay? Because I think last time we almost explained too much initially, but we almost need to be quite efficient so that we just get it done, get it in the diary, and Nick can follow up. He normally follows up on a Friday to see how you're getting on with your weekly goals with you. Have you all been receiving that? Yeah, cool. That's awesome. At that point, we might have, it does depend, but we might have like 15, 20 minutes left where then it's open house to people that want to ask questions on anything. We're here to help. That's what the rest of the call will be for. Or like I say, you can always turn down the volume and get on with a little bit of your to-do list from the system and work through everything. So if I go into my leads, so here's my leads section. I'm just going to click into one of ones that we've been looking at. So here's a lead, Hall Road in Sheffield. So, you know, you would have seen the familiar lead database. Now, if you scroll all the way down, we've got this simple cash flow calculator. What we have said, and it will be going soon, I believe, Nick, we're not going to have that there, are we? We're updating it. So we're not going to have that. We're going to have like a primary one where you can kind of tick which one's your primary. But if you scroll all the way down, you've got a strategy section within your leads folder. And this will identify then if it's worth viewing a property or not. So this is when you're trying to find opportunities. So we've done one on there already, but I'm just going to click the plus sign to open up and click full form. I am recording this, aren't I? Just want to double check it. I think I did press it, didn't I? Yes.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
That would have been a nightmare. Okay, so on this strategy here, we've got these types of calculators. So buy to let, and that's like a buy, refurb, refinance type opportunity. Same with the HMO, you've got SA, even rent to rent calculators in there. And you've also got like flip calculator, which we can run through. So I'm just going to do a normal buy to let one first. Now with the whole road one, if I just kind of like bring it out, you can click just to kind of see. It's on for 190 and it's a 3-bed and we've got a little bit of an idea on it. So if I just go back in and I do know my numbers and I know Sheffield, so I'll just kind of use for the demo, my knowledge of area. So we're just going to label this buy to let. It's on for 190,000. I know that in the area, that type of house really could go for 1,200 at the moment. Management, 10%. Monthly operating expenses, normally 10% on a buy-to-let. Everyone does these numbers different. That's why they're not automatically put in there. You might be self-managing, so no management fee. You might have a better deal or it might be more expensive, etc. There is little eyes next to everything, which does explain what the boxes are for. So if ever you get a bit confused, remember to click the eyes. It does help navigate things. Because it's a buy-to-let, I'd keep it at 100% occupancy. Now, if it was a HMO, you might do like 90 or 85%. You can adjust it. And if it was like SA, you could even do like a 50% and then double check what they are as you go. So to see what it's like. Right, the next one here is done up value. So say within the market that if I did it up to a really high standard, it might be say 210 or even 220 I'm going to put here. Done up value, loan to value mortgage, 75%. Mortgage rates, we just heard back from someone, they got 4.12, I think it was, for their buy to let today, which is awesome. So we'll just put 4.5 for the minute, maybe stress test it at 5.5 with the market. Buying and setup fees. So this is everything from your stamps and legals. Now, again, just as a reminder, this is just a quick tool to identify very, very quickly if this property is even worth your time or not. So if you want to go into more detail later, you can. But at the moment, we're just like, well, if it's 190, I won't want to buy it for that, say 150. So 5% stamp and then a couple of thousand for legals. Let's just say it's like 8,000 to be safe. Refurb estimate, that might be based on your own experience or if you've kind of just seen the pictures, you might think, well, other stuff we've done or what we've been told by training is that maybe like 25, 30K could be a really good refurb. So let's start off with, let's say 25 and then see when we view it if we need to add or adjust that or take away. Holding fees, that is very dependent on what you want it to be. You can put it as 0, or it could be things like the council tax, insurance, and those types of costs. So you could put a small fee in there. You could put a sourcing fee if someone's charging you a sourcing fee, so you know what the cost is of the deal with the fee. For today, I'm just going to put 0. Money left in, so that's when we refinance. What are we wanting to pull out? We'd love everything, but let's say we're prepared to leave 15,000 in, for example. Fixed monthly cost. This is more, I only really use this when I do HMOs if I know there's like a set like broadband cost that's going out. But again, I find with Mo, I know that my HMOs can be like more like 25, 28 sometimes %. So I might base it on those. So I don't really use that very often, but it is there as an option for you. And then we've got a little notes section. So you could just make any notes like to base it on, that's because it's going for the new kitchen, like the full shebang, or it might be because the refurb is just a light fix or whatever. You could just give yourself a note if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it blank and press save. Okay, so now what it's done is it's calculated everything for me. I'm going to bring your eyes down to the bottom left, and it says here calculated offer is 147,000. Now that is a 3.7 year in return on investment, and if you look to the right, it says 27.3% return on investment, and then if you go up from there, it says monthly cash flow £341. Now that is not bad for a buy-to-let at all. I'm quite happy with that. However, what we want to know is what's our minimum offer and what's our maximum offer. So when we do go to view, we're confident in what we're trying to do with the numbers that we're looking at. So what we do is we just tweak the money left in. Now, I'm happy with a 20% ROI, and actually I source for other people. And there's a lot of people that are actually happy with 15% ROI or a particular yield, maybe, because there's a yield percentage you could work your numbers on. So let's just see what it's like if we leave 20,000 in the deal instead of 15. And did you see we can edit with the little pencil, individual things, or if you need to edit quite a lot of stuff, you can edit from the top. So there's two ways you can do that. So now it's saying 152,000, and I said a minute ago I'm probably more at 150. It's on for 190, so it's a bit of a drop, but can I prove it? So it's 152, it's 20%. Me personally wouldn't want to go any lower than that. I'm happy with both the cash flow as it is and also as the stress test. So right now I'm thinking, okay, the only thing I think I need is a call with the agent first and say, hi, before I go view this property, would they be considering any lower offers at all because of the refurb required? And just finding out, because maybe it isn't worth driving all the way there or viewing it if they're going to go, they'll only drop to 180. And you're like, well, I'm out. So you could do like a non-offer offer where you could go, well, I could easily, if I viewed that today or tomorrow, I would give you 152. And that's my what I couldn't do anymore kind of thing. And then you could put it forward. The other thing I can show you as well is if it was more kind of, I mean, we know it's on for 190, but if it wasn't and it was more like 160, the offer for Mimo, which is just above the calculated offer, is saying money in, money out. If you offered 132,000, you're laughing, basically. That's a great offer. So all we want to do with these calcs is just get a quick idea and understanding of, is it worth our time? Is it more of a phone call offer? Is it an in-person actually view the property? And then you could just go next, next, next. But with what you could do with this, which is what we've kind of covered already, is creating a task to follow up and just keep calling them. How's it going? Have you had any offers? We're really keen. Da, 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 da. You can win that way. Any quick questions on that at all before we go to another example? Yes.
Yeah, sorry, Holly. Can
Yeah,
you you mentioned creating a task on follow-up. Could you just do that quickly in front of us and just
of course. So when you're
run
in,
us through, please?
I can absolutely. So in the lead, so we're in the lead for this deal, and the strategies are at the bottom. We can see that the buy to let we've just done is here. We played around with HMOs there. And then just to the top here, we can create a task to the
Mhm.
right with a plus sign. And we could just say follow up, offer. For that example, you can do a due date and you can either do it weekly, monthly, however you want it to work, depending on
Mm.
how hot the market is. You can set yourself an email reminder. Okay, press save, and boom. Next week, you're going to get an email saying, don't forget to follow up on the offer. When you click that email link, it's going to take you straight to here, and you're going
Mm.
to have the link to the website. Technically, you'd have the agent's number, and you would just call them and say, just following up from my offer last week of 152. Is there been any other interest? I'm still really keen.
Where,
Um,
sorry, I'm sorry interrupting. Where would you put, if you put in an offer of 152, where would you record that?
I would do that here. So let's just say it's today's date, offer today, or I might not have viewed it actually. So I could have put that as a not viewed. Current offer 152,000,
Okay.
save. And then as an example, let me just change that actually. Let's say we saw it last week
Mhm.
just to show you. Then we put the offer in, hang on, put the offer in. Yeah, so that should, let me just press save. So that's like that. Now, let's say I increased my offer and thought, okay, I really do want this. I'm going up to that. And it's now today's date. Press save. We've now got on the 21st of Jan, you offered 152,
Yeah,
and current offer is you're at 160. So
that's
you're
great.
actually getting a log now as well as your task to follow up with these
Mm.
offers.
Mm.
Does
And
that
also,
make sense?
yeah, it does. I see under date offered, you've got today, and then you've got an add offer. So that's, you could also click there.
You
And
could. The difference with that one, though, that is just a quick. If I do that and press save, what that does, it creates an automatic follow-up in 28 days' time. So
I
that's
see.
if you
Okay.
want to do a weekly one because you need to get in there, oh, you wouldn't
Yeah.
do that. But if it was one of those where you're like, well, people have already offered 210 on it and I can only offer 150, You might as well just click the button for 28 days because in 28 days it might be falling through because maybe they couldn't get the lend in because maybe the lender
Mhm.
didn't believe it's worth 210 or something like that.
Okay,
So it's a
thank you.
nice little tool not to forget it if
Yeah.
you're just flicking through opportunities. Hope that helps. So, okay, we're just going to go back to the calcs then so that Nick can just show us the flips and then it's over to the goals. And then that's our little mini taster session for today. So let's click here, click full form, and we're going to click flip this time. And we're going to
Ollie,
put like,
Ollie,
yeah.
sorry. For a bit of context for this, actually, do you want to just jump to leads and go to the lead that we can create this for, if that's okay?
Oh, yeah, cool. I can indeed.
So go to search for 10. Oh, it's the top one actually, 104
Yeah,
Matilda Street. Great.
got
Tap
it.
on that. So yeah, if you just click on the right move link, just really quickly, I just want to show. Um,
The
so
example.
this is going to be a flip for a commercial to residential. So I want to show you because a flip is kind of like you buy it for this, you do the works, and you sell it for X. I wanted to show you kind of using the flip for like a multi-unit property and how to put those numbers in. So here's just a picture of what we're looking at. If you just scroll down a tiny bit, Holly, it's got the size of the property here in square foot. So we know how big the box is that we're working with. So 6,000-ish square foot. So that's what we're looking at. So yeah, if you want to jump back to the strategies now, Holly, so we can do
Yeah.
the numbers. Cool. And then let's create a new strategy. Yep. Great. Cool. Yeah.
What do you want to name it?
8 bed.
Hmm.
Or 8 flats, sorry. Because so based on the size of it, so when we're looking at something like this, we look at like the national. So if you Google national space standards, you can find out what the kind of requirements are for like new build properties. And whilst you don't always need that, it's a good guideline to use for if you're looking at creating some flats or some buildings to make sure they sit within those space standards. So in the future, if mortgages change or policies change or whatever, you've built something that kind of adheres to current standards. So based on that, 6,000 square foot, I think I might be able to get 8 2-bed flats in there. That's what I'm working on. So my research in the area, I think 2-bed flats are about 150k. So 150k times 8 is 1.2 million for the done up. Is what I reckon. So that's just a simple. I think I can get 8 of these boxes in there, and that's what they're worth each. So that's my done up. So buying and setup, I mean, I'm probably going to put in, say, 50k in there to cover buying fees, architect fees, surveys, all that kind of stuff, because there might be quite a lot going into it. And then the refurb estimate, I think, because we're not changing the exterior, we're just going to build these boxes inside the current box, then we might be able to do the flats for 50k each, so that would be 400k, but I'm going to put in some contingency, so I might just put the refurb estimate as 500k, so like 20% contingency in there. So I think it's going to take me 12 months, and it's probably going to cost me maybe 2,000 a month. And this isn't lending costs at this point. This is just kind of admin costs of holding the property. So it might be insurance, it might be bills, other bits and bobs. Maybe I might still have to pay business rates on this property. And then so let's go down to total borrowing. So I'm going to borrow. I'm going to borrow. Let's say 500k to purchase it. 50. Say let's borrow 950,000. So we're going to borrow all the money.
Yeah.
And then, again, we're just putting numbers in the essay. 10% is the borrowing rate, and I'm not using any private investors. And then selling fees. So you're just looking at what your estate agents charge in the area for sale fees. So like that will be like 1.5%, kind of round about here. So if I did the total done up of 1.2 million times 1.5%, that's about 18k. So maybe plus actually we want some legals in there. So maybe say 30k for selling fees. And then I want say 100k profit.
You can do both, can't you, though? You can do like,
Sorry.
you can say, I just want 25% as a profit, or I can say the amount that I want, can't you?
Yes, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, because you might just be what you might your strategy might on flips. It might be I always want to work to 20% profit kind of thing, for example. So yeah, cool. And then
20, or I'll do the 100 like you said initially.
that's so I put 20, yeah, go for the
Yeah.
percentage, yeah. And then like Holly said, the notes section at the bottom is down here. I'd put like, so it's going to be 8 2-bed flats, DUV, like done up value for the flats, 150k each. And that's pretty much that's all, that's all I kind of work basing this on at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, and then save. Cool. So if I want to make 300k profit, which is a lot of profit, I need to offer 200,000. But if we say tweak the profit down to like say 10%, or yeah, no, great, actually, yes, change it
Just do
to
your example of what you wanted before, where you wanted 100 out.
yeah. So now we're at 400k. So this place has been on the market for quite a long time. Just by looking on Rightmove and stuff, you can see I think it's been on the market for like a couple of years. So there might be potential for negotiation in there in this property. So but that's kind of how you can then, like Holly showed you as well, we can tweak the numbers, we choose our profit value, and then we can go back up and say, actually, maybe if we might be able to increase our offer for losing a little bit of profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that?
And it depends on outsourcing as well, doesn't it? Something to that size, you might think, well, at the end, if I do one of those a year, I'm happy with 50k type thing, as long as, because maybe you've done loads of contingencies and loads of safeties. But when you get down to the nitty gritty of the actual numbers, because at the moment this is just a, finger in the air guide to see if it's worth it, But you can do this with any standard house, if it's a 2-bed house that you're turning into a HMO and you're flipping it, or if it's, a 2 turn into 3-bed and you're going to sell it as a residential home, you can still base those numbers very similarly. So yeah, I mean, that was just where we wanted to share there. There's so many different ways you can do strategies. The other thing that I didn't share with you actually, but would be really useful, is I'll go back to the leads on the other one, because there's just a couple in there a minute. Is so you can start to see on the actual leads folder of that property that we were looking at a minute ago that we've got that HMO opportunity, we've got buy to it. You could even do a flip. So it's what you're doing is you're getting an idea of what is the best scenario for that box. Because when we think of a house as a box, right, and we get taught this all the time, it's some people say I do HMOs, but when they start looking at the numbers, the buy to let actually might be a better opportunity. For if you look at here, like the buy to let, you could offer 152, 20% return on investment, same amount of time as the HMO. So it's kind of like, well, hang on, so it can sometimes work better. Cash flow not as good, but in the grand scheme of less hassle, buy to let would potentially win on this. And what you can do to just dip in and out of all these different scenarios, so say for example an SA or a HMO, a different occupancy rate, at the top here when you're in the actual calc, next to edit, you've got 3 dots, and if you sorry, not print to PDF, press duplicate, we can actually duplicate and then change the numbers. So you could say 2 to 3-bed, because maybe it was a 2-bed house and you turn it into a 3-bed. And then you could tweak the refurb is a bit more money maybe. Or if it was the SA, let's change that. You can now just do that as SA, and you could say 70% occupancy, 70% occupancy, and then you might change things like that might be more like 6,000, that might be more like 15, that might be more like 25, and this might be more like 5.5, 6.5. But the rest probably wouldn't change very much in the sense of like purchase and done up bricks and mortar based. Refurb maybe a bit more because you might make it a bit snazzy or add some furniture. Press save. And then you've got now an opportunity if you offered 122. Let's just leave 50,000 in instead, tweaking numbers. So for the same 152, that's a much better deal. So if I go back, and it took me 2 seconds to tweak the numbers, I can scroll down here and say, well, actually, if I essayed this house first for a couple of years, and I offered the same as I would as a buy to let, I'm making a lot better return, a lot better cash flow. So is this an SA area? Let's find out. Can I fill it? Can I fill it at 70% occupancy? Maybe you can find a company that wants to use it or whatever. So it's again just playing around with the strategies and getting familiar with it. I'm really mindful of time because I always do this. We just yap on because I just love sharing, but we wanted to keep it like really concise for you. So I'm going to stop sharing that. We're going to go straight to Nick now with the goals first.
And we're going to, because as of this wonderful lady, as of now, has loaded everything that was on Arthur is now on Property Pipeline
Amazing. Well
Amazing job.
done.
for the entire portfolio. So that's certificates,
Oh,
tenancies, deposits, just
you've been
the work.
busy.
Yeah, she's been busy. So I'm going to have great joy in firing Arthur this week.
Excellent.
Oh, I'm so pleased. Oh, bless
Yeah,
you. And doing
yeah.
that, Johanna, did you find it quite user friendly? Did you find it was easy to kind of use the system?
Yes, I have made notes. I've got about, when we do our one-to-one, I've got about 10 points
10 pages.
Bring 'em.
which I've come across. I'm sure there's an answer to all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I've got about 6, so we're up to
Oh,
16 already. So we're going to have a busy time with you, Holly.
I love it. Love it. Oh, bless
yeah,
you.
I'm fairly straightforward, just putting it in once you get into the rhythm of it, and I think it's going to be really good.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm coming over to the conclusion that it's a bit of an all or nothing system.
Yeah.
The value is when you're all in.
Yeah.
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 You
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
everything on there, and
That's
then you're organized in one
I've-
place.
Yeah, that's when you really start seeing the value. If we just stopped with what we were using Arthur for, it's like the tip of the iceberg, you know.
Yeah.
So watch the space. We are going to have some fun, and we're committed. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be
So
great.
good to have you on board. It's exciting to hear, and well done for putting all that information in, because I know it's a task. But when you do put the information and you do learn how to use the system, and that's where all the questions come from, which is how we can help you. And also that's why we're here tonight. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, it's only short 45 minutes, but it's kind of making sure that we're showing up, we are using it, we're not falling back into the old ways of using post-its or, dipping back into an Excel spreadsheet that isn't going to benefit you in any way. So we've got 10 minutes left. If people need to kind of like take those 10 minutes to kind of work through their to-do list or do anything on Property Pipeline, feel free to turn off your video. We'll still say bye in that one when the time's up on our end. But if you want to stick around, if anyone's got any questions or comments, we're happy to answer them now within the next 10 minutes.
I've got two really probably basic questions, if that's okay.
Cool.
First one, how do I add a new user to my system?
I don't know if my finger's pointing at Nick on your screen, but this directly, Nick.
Just Ben, if you pop us a message, either if you've got Holly's contact or you've got our support email, either way with just their email address, first name and last name, then I can set them up for you and they'll be emailed their login details.
I'm just going to share
perfect.
as well. You should be getting like intro emails when you're new, but for those that aren't new, it can be forgotten. But if you go to the top right-hand corner of your pipeline, there's 3 dots which says menu. And when you go into about, you've got your help section with videos and things. You've got support emails. You can email us anything there. And even actually, Chris and Johanna, those questions, if you want to start writing down all the questions that you have, or even if you want to voice note me, I might be able to get back to you sooner if it's something that's really, easy to do. Obviously, we can still go through it one-to-one, but sometimes if like the next one-to-one for us, unfortunately, isn't till next Tuesday. So I don't want you to feel stuck. So use the WhatsApp group as well. The WhatsApp community is there to ask questions. Maybe don't put all 10 in one go. But if you start putting questions in the group, other people answer them as well. That's been using the system for the last 4 years we've had it. And, everyone's really friendly. So, if you're comfortable, just share in the WhatsApp group, email that email. You've also got here, if you click where it says help, it'll take you to all the help videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that will also be in your own time as well, to be able to, if any questions that you haven't kind of come to have answered yet. I don't know if you can see, because my face is in the, I need to move. All your faces are covered, but at the bottom you can see it says 7%. So after a while, if I click on this training video to like leads deep dive to learn more about leads, it's now saying I'm 10% instead of 7% completed. So you can slowly work through this and try and get yourself to almost 100%. Because if you get yourself to 100%, you've learned everything there is to know about Property Pipeline. And they're just little snippet videos that me and Nick have recorded in the past that should be able to help you. The strategy feature that we covered today is there as well. You know, you've got target lists, how to create a task, how to create a follow-up, those types of things. So there's lots of help there, but of course we've still got the WhatsApp and we've still got the emails and one-to-ones as and when you need them.
Well, yeah, it looks like my email might be wrong, and I might have put in the wrong email on the system, so I might not have got a couple
Oh
of
no,
things.
and check junk as
So,
well. Fortunately, sometimes the emails to because if you sign up, you will be also on like an email subscription, and we do tend to do either weekly or bi-weekly emails to give it like support and help in different ways. But if they go into your junk, you ain't gonna see them. So
yeah.
just be mindful, check the junk and kind of say whether or not. I think there's a button you can press on junk stuff, can't you, to make it. Oh, Karen's
Perfect.
gone. I was like, I just saw her go. Bye, Karen. She's gone. But yeah, so hope that helps. Any other
Yeah, no,
questions?
thank you very much. Yeah. So my second question was, will there be, or is there any way to add attachments? So I'm just thinking in terms of like refurb costs, if you might have quite a detailed list, is there a way to add that to the strategy or whatever it might be?
Yeah. So a couple of ways, I guess Holly's probably going to show you, and I can sort of explain as well. A couple of ways you can do that. You could upload the attachment as a file, and then it's stored in the system, and that file is stored in the system against the property or wherever you want to upload it. And I think Holly's probably going to show you.
So you've got like
the-
links to external files here. If it's a link, you can add photos, and then if you scroll down, you can add documents.
Yeah, so documents
Great.
is
Cool.
great if it's like a static file, like a like a title or a plot map or something like that. You can drop that in documents. If it's like a live document that you might have in like OneDrive or Dropbox or Google Docs, what we'd suggest there, because it's a live document that you're editing, then paste the link to the document in this links to external files box. So that's just now in the notes and pictures section. And then that means you've always got the live link to that document kind of thing.
Amazing. Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
You can as well. If you can... Oh, hello. Cute. You can as well when you're doing like once you've got a portfolio. So if that's just like documents for like a lead, now that you've got the property and you're maybe managing your own portfolio, you can also like manage the actual refurb itself. So it's slightly different in properties. And you could do the same thing here in the documents where the ASTs and that might go, or you could start on the right-hand side a task like a roof job, or it could even just say refurb in the tasks. And when you do that, I know this one's completed, but you can start to comment and add files and things within here. So updates can be all underneath one task. So it might be the electrician could be a folder and it's all the electric stuff, and the plumbing, it could be all the plumbing stuff. So you could still segment them out if you wanted to as well. That's another option. Hope that helps. Cool. Right. Well, we've got 5 more minutes, so we're here to help. Is everyone feeling like, I mean, I know some of you saying you're not logging in. Is there anything that you think could help you? Is it like, for me, it's like coffee in the morning, log in, check my to-do list or add my to-do list instead of it being on a piece of paper, create, tasks. You log into your phone. Have you tried logging into your phone on the system yet?
So I tried to find, I don't know if I misunderstood or not. I'm not sure if it is an app or if it's like the link on web.
So it's just all you do is go into your internet browser, whether it be your normal one or your Chrome one. I had a good chat about this with Chris, actually. There's no right or wrong, actually, how you do it. For me, my normal internet browser just remembers it. Once you've logged in, it remembers it. And it will remember it constantly until there's an update. So if we do an update, it will then won't work. You'd have to put your password in again. But you can actually save it as an icon, but it is still phone. It's still like app friendly in the sense of it's phone friendly, user friendly. It's kind of that format. But the reason why it's done like that is because it's more live with the internet. You're going to have all the updates, and that's how you can like interlink and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you said app, and I was like, okay, I'm going to search it. And I was like, I did not find it. Maybe I'm doing this wrong.
All it is that your normal login. So you would just log into PropertyPipeline how you would normally do on your phone internet browser, and you store it as a favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, and like what Chris kind of said is that you don't use Chrome, or you use the iPhone's internet browser, but not the other one or something. So he uses one for just search and stuff, and one just for Property Pipeline, because
Right.
it's just easier for him to use it as his own icon. And I thought that was quite
Yeah.
clever.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to ask was, I mean, we're doing all our work now. We will migrate and start using our phones more, obviously, but for now, we're doing it on laptop. Is it possible to, if you don't close the tab, so in other words, you're in Property Pipeline, but you don't close the tab, you just put your computer to sleep, you come in the next morning, the tab's still there, you haven't logged out, will you still be connected? Or does your system kick you out after a period
I
still-
find
of
that
time?
I'm still in,
Yes.
but I might want to press the refresh button.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Holly.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you know more about that
Yeah,
than me.
you'll still be logged in, Chris. Yeah. Occasionally we make
Okay, great.
we'll occasionally there might be updates, but that might be every few months. But generally, unless you clear your browser cookies, then you should stay logged in all the time.
Yeah.
Because the secret with Mac, I don't know if you can do it on Windows, but with Mac you can use you can put a tab on a separate screen, and it's just parked off to the side, and you've got all your other searches and everything. But if you want Property Pipeline, you just go to that other screen,
Yeah.
and it's there, and you haven't got the hassle of logging in, logging out, logging in all the time. So
Yeah, I mean,
okay. Well,
Keep you logged in,
we're going to have to go. So,
all right, Chris. Well, thank you so much for joining. I mean, it's 7:30, so as I say, thank you. Goodbye. Keep it nice and short. And you know where to find us, guys. WhatsApp, email if you need us. And yeah, keep on with your goals,
absolutely.
and we'll see you next Tuesday.